Okay, here we are inside of our Travelaire. Like I said, it's 28 feet. It's older, so there's no slides or anything, but it's a decent size for our little family. It's got a kitchenette, which I've replaced the seats on. I'll talk about that later on. Fair amount of storage. I have put in a fantastic fan, added those in, added LED lighting as much as I could. We do have air conditioning. It does work quite nicely. So a small kitchen. This motorhome's a little bit dirtier at the moment. We haven't done any trips outside yet. Got a nice big window here, and a single kind of captain's chair there. We've taken this chair out to give us some more floor space. I've got the Dometic Fridge. It is supposed to be a two-way electric and propane. However, the electric is not working, but the propane works quite well. And it's a double sink, although they're quite shallow, so that's one thing I've got on my list to do, is replace it with a deeper sink and new fixtures there. So it's got the stove and oven, and there is space for a microwave above. It's wired up there, but it doesn't have one. Lots of covered space. Oddly enough, with this air conditioner here, I had to have this little cutout on the door in order to be able to open it all the way. Otherwise the door would only open part way, and that made it hard to get into. The bathroom is not much to write home about. It's your standard toilet, tub, which is used for storage right now, sink. It's got some wallpaper that needs to be painted over badly, so again, that's on my list. It has a fan up there, although it's quite small, and it needs to be replaced as well. One of those kind of ugly curtains that separates back to the bedroom. This is something that I've done recently. I'll write a little project about it. I've got to finish a variety of things, but up until this winter, there was a queen size bed out here. However, the bed would come out right to about here, which made walking, very challenging. You kind of walked on your side and along the wall here, and you could sit on the bed. You could access the drawers in the cupboard here, and the previous owner changed this a little bit. Again, a bit of a mess, but there's an opening here for storage, a drawer there. It was basically a wide open space right down the side here, and so I rearranged this into kind of like a day bed. This bottom part pulls out, so it'll pull back out and extend back into the queen size bed. I've also and I've cut the cushions and moved them around. Again, it needs to be cleaned up here, but I've tried to create a bit of a day bed situation, and these matching covers and stuff. It's a bit of a mess, but you can kind of see what's happening here. Gives a lot more floor space, way more floor space. Underneath the bed originally were two big drawers that in the 8 years that I've owned the unit, I've had to mess around with multiple times to keep them accessible. They were hard to open. With a small little space in there, you could hardly get anything into the drawers, even though they're quite deep. And it just basically became unusable space, so I thought, well, let's just kick it back and you make it usable space, and then under that white and pink cushion in front of you is a lift up space, and probably there's more storage, more usable storage there now than there was on the other side originally, so that's quite a bit better. Again, like I said, all the cushions need to be covered over, matching, and as we go through and do the painting, that'll be done as well. I've got some other videos I'm going to make. I'll make a video specifically about the bed, how I did it and what I did exactly. I did that while I was fixing a water leak in the corner there, so you can kind of see that mismatching piece of paneling by the right hand window there. And then there was also a water leak in the back a couple of years ago, and that's over on the left hand side. I'll make another video about that. The whole back end was tore apart for that. You'll notice I haven't finished it off, and there is a specific reason for that, but I'll get into that when I do those videos. So all the little finishing touches need to be done. So that's kind of an inside tour. It has the Again, it's a mess up there, but it does have the bed above the cab. It's a big size. It's bigger than a king. And the chairs up front. So, as I was talking about, this is a Travelaire. It's Canadian made, and which means it has some special kind of winterized features. These windows, I don't know if you can see in this shot very well or not, but they're actually a double window. Not a double pane, but like two separate window frames. There's your standard frame on the outside, that's the black one, and then the inside is the beige colored one. There's a second window frame. So there's actually two separate windows, which has its pros and cons. The windows are quite challenging to open. And you can see the two separate panes there. There's the one inside, there's the screen, and then there's the outside pane. It's a little hard to open. They're hard to open all the way. The lock is in the inside. The smaller the windows aren't too bad. However, the big window, like that big window there beside the dinette, that one's a real tough one to open. So that's quite a bit of a pain. All the windows are all double like that. All the way around. There's three windows in the back. And so the inner window can actually be taken off if you need to do any repairs, or if you want to just take them off for the summer or something. There's screws all the way around. So the locking mechanism has come off, but this locking mechanism stays on. Sorry, I got cut off there. So again, the locking mechanism holds on to the screw there. So if you want to take the windows off, you just pull the lock out. You just loosen these screws off just a little bit. You don't need to do much. And then you can actually pull the inner window frame right off. And there are pros and cons to that. As I said, the windows are very hard to open. Some of them are hard to open when the double frames are on. However, the pros are, not only in the winter is there an added insulation value, but that insulation value in the winter actually comes in very handy in the summertime when we're camping in parks and things. It actually blocks out a lot of the noise. And we used to have an old travel trailer. Actually, it wasn't old, it was a brand new travel trailer with new dual pane windows, and you could really hear almost everything outside the unit. Noise just seemed to travel right through it. But this one really does a good job of blocking out the noise from the outside, and so as we have light sleeping children, we have, well, really we've left the windows on pretty much all the time. I only take them off if I'm cleaning or doing a repair or something like that. But the option is there if you want to take them off. If you're worried about extra weight or something, they are kind of big and heavy. But like I said, so far we left them on. The other winterized features in this Canadian unit, it has of course all the plumbing is inside. The freshwater tank is under that seat there. That's not that uncommon, but and then having all of the water lines running inside is not uncommon either. However, what we see here in this unit is that all the heat vents from the furnace follow the plumbing lines around, and there's always little kind of air escapes where the heat vents can help keep the plumbing lines from freezing. So as long as you're running your furnace, or if you're running an electric heater, you just make sure you keep your doors open on the bottom here, bottom cabinet doors, things like that. That keeps your lines from freezing. In addition, the black and gray water tanks under the motorhome, right down on the floor here, both are built inside of an enclosed compartment, insulated. And originally the unit had a heat duct from the furnace that would actually break down into that enclosed unit to help keep things from freezing down there. I find the previous owner actually took that duct off and routed it into another area of the motorhome. And I find as long as you put a little antifreeze down on both the sink and the toilet, I haven't had any issues with it freezing. Although we haven't been out in really anything lower than about minus 10 Celsius. I guess that's about, maybe 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Not certain. The only window in the whole unit that isn't double paned is this silly window on the door. That's the one that's a bit of a pain. In fact, the whole door is a bit of a pain. It's probably the cool spot in the whole motorhome. Probably needs a new door, but usually I grab some of that silver insulate stuff and throw it over the window whenever we're out in the wintertime. But that's just a single thin sheet of plexiglass. And then of course the cab on these Class C units are always a cool spot. So we always try to put a blanket, hang a blanket down over top of that and keep it warm, keep the warm air on the inside as well. Okay. Well, that's a quick tour of the inside. I'll do some more videos about other components as we go along. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm happy to share.